Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In this tutorial, we will discuss how to implement a login feature using Google, GitHub, Facebook, etc. using Socialite in a Laravel 12 project. This feature is very useful for making it easier for users to register and log in to our application. In this tutorial, I will complete the setup for the Google provider. For other providers, you can find the client_ID and secret_ID for each provider on your own. This tutorial is modular, so it can be expanded to include other providers supported by Laravel Socialite. For this project, I am using the Laravel Starter Pack project with a modified Breeze authentication system that allows login with an email or username. And here's the migration for users. Before starting, you can open the official Laravel Socialite docs, which we'll use as a basic guide. Let's get started. The first step is to install the Laravel Socialite package. Open your terminal and run the following composer command. This package will handle all third-party authentication processes. After installation is complete, we need to add configurations for several provider services. Open the config/services.php file and add credentials for the provider, namely client ID, client secret, and redirect RI. Make sure the callback URL matches your application settings. Next, open your .env file. Add provider variables such as Google client_ID, Google secret_ID, and Google callback_URL for Google providers. For other providers, simply replace the word Google with the name of the provider, such as GitHub or Facebook. We will obtain the values for these three variables later from Google Cloud Console for Google and Meta Developer for Facebook when registering our application. Now, let's prepare the database. We need to add several new columns to the users table. Run the command to create a new migration file. In the migration file, add columns for provider ID, provider name, provider token, and provider refresh token. Oh yes, don't forget to change the password column so that it can be left blank, nullable. If you have, run php artisan migrate. After that, open the user model and add the new column names to the fillable property so that they can be filled in. Next, we will create two main routes. Open the routes/web.php file. The first route is to redirect users to the Google/provider login page. The second route is a callback route that will handle user data after they successfully log in from Google/provider. Here, I have modified the route from the Socialite documentation because we will be using multiple providers. Now, let's create the controllers. We will create two controllers according to the routes we just created. First, Provider Redirect Controller. This controller is responsible for redirecting users to the provider using the Socialite driver. We add validation to ensure that the requested providers are Google, GitHub, and Facebook. If the validation is correct, we call the Socialite provider. Second, Provider Callback Controller. This is where the core process takes place. This controller retrieves user data from the provider. We add validation to ensure that the requested provider is Google, GitHub, or Facebook. Then, we check whether the user is already registered in our database. If not, we create a new user. If they already exist, we simply update their data. After that, we log in the user using the auth login facade from Laravel and redirect them to the dashboard page. We can copy and paste the callback code from the Socialite documentation, then replace GitHub with provider and add provider name after provider ID. Since our authentication system uses usernames as well, we handle the username field by adding username after email. Then we provide a method to handle the username before running update or create. We create a method named generateUsername. This method will take the username or nickname from the provider if the provider has that data. Since not all providers provide nickname data, we create a random username based on the name or email data from the provider and add a random number at the end. Next, add a login button to our view page. Open the login or register blade file, then add a link or button that points to the provider redirect route we created earlier. Here, I've set a condition to determine whether the provider's client ID and secret ID exist. If so, the login button with that provider will appear in the view. The final step is to configure and obtain the client ID and secret ID for each provider. This tutorial only shows how to obtain them for the Google provider. that's it! Your Laravel application now has a Google login feature. Pretty easy, right? With Socialite, the authentication process becomes much simpler. If you want to use this Laravel Starter Pack project, you can click the repository link in the description column, and don't forget to give it a star. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you in the next tutorial.